When we're working with percent problems, and we're either looking for the percent or how the percent affects a number, oftentimes like when we're shopping and there's a discount, we use a strategy that's called a percent box. And all the percent box does is helps you organize the information that you're given. The percent box you have been using for weeks, using proportions. We've done it with measurement conversions. It is just an organizational tool to help you set it up. But with a percent box, your labels are going to be very similar to fractions. Part over total, or the other words that they use would be is over of. These things mean the same. So part or is over total or of. Percent will go in this box, and we know that percents are always out of 100, so you always have 100 in that box. Again, this is just to help organize your numbers to then help you find whichever missing information there is. So on the assignment that we did, the grammar of percents, we started out with just snips of information that they would give us that we practice putting inside those percent boxes. So for the first one, what is 10% of 60? So I start with my percent box, and I'm going to label it is over of percent always out of 100. And I look at and chunk my information. What is saying that we don't know and we're looking for that piece. 10%, well the 10 is going to go for the percent box always out of 100. Of 60, well 60 is going to go in the of box. So we come back to a skill that we've been working on for many, many weeks now, at least 6 weeks with proportions, which is how to find that missing number, and we're going to use scale factor. Now, if you're looking left to right for scale factor, you'll notice that there is no friendly scale factor. We cannot jump from 60 to 100 or 100 to 60 by multiplying. So what we look at then is find the base. If I'm looking at the number that I have in the top and bottom, and that's the 10 and the 100 right here, I know that I can cross out those zeros and I can find a base of 1 to 10. What I did now allows me to find a friendly scale factor, in other words, a way to jump from 10 to 60. I know that 10 times 6 is 60. My scale factor has to be the same on the top. 1 times 6 gives me my missing number. I know 1 times 6 is 6, so x would equal 6. That 6 is how much they would take off of 60. Like if you had an article of clothing that was originally $60, it's on sale for 10% off, they're going to take $6 off of that article of clothing. Okay, let's try another one. I'm just going to move this. I'll put this over here. So we can do number 5. I'm just going to go to the right. So again, I'm going to start with my percent box. They're looking for 25% of what is 50. I'm going to label is over of percent always out of 100. So they give me 25%. So the 25 is going to go in the percent box. Percents are always out of 100. Of what, meaning we don't know the of, is 50. So my 50 is going to go into the is box. Again, I'm looking for a friendly scale factor. In this case, I could find a base. Do I have to? No, because I know that 25 times 2 is 50. My scale on the bottom has to be the same times 2. I know 100 times 2 is 200. So x would equal 200. So 25% of 200 is 50. Number 9 is a little bit different. You've got to make sure that you're sticking to your vocabulary. and not overthinking this problem. It says 45 is what percent of 9? So I'm going to start with my percent box. Is over of percent, always out of 100. Chunk your information they give you. First step is 45 is. That means the 45 is going to go into my is box. What percent, meaning I don't have the percent, I do know it's always out of 100, of 9. 9 is going to go into the of box. So notice on this one that is more than your of. Again, I'm looking, how do I jump from 9 to 100? Well, there is no nice scale factor, so I'm going to find a base. 45 and 9. 9 will go into each, which would make my base 5 to 1. Then I can jump 1 to 100 is times 100. So my scale on the top has to be times 100. 5 times 100 is 500. And because it's a percent, I want to make sure I put that percent sign. 45 is 500% of 9. Okay, why don't you try one on your own? Let's go to number 3. Start with your percent box and label it. Try it on your own. Pause the video, come back and check. Okay, so you should have done this on your own and then checked it with me. Again, we already have our percent box and it's labeled and chunk your information. 3 is, goes into the is box. What percent, meaning we don't know, we need to look for it, of 15. 15 goes in our of box. There's no nice scale for 15 to 100, so I'm going to find the base. 3 and 15 will go down and reduce to 1 over 5. Then I have a nice scale factor of times 20, and I know the scale factor on top has to be the same. 1 times 20 is 20, so I know x equals 20, and it's a percent, so I need to add that percent symbol. So 3 is 20% of 15. Try number 7 on your own. Go ahead and pause the video, come back and check it with me. So you should have checked this one on your own. You should have started with your percent box and labeled. We're going to start with chunking information. The first step says what is. That means we don't know what is or our part is. That's what we're looking for. 75%. 75 goes in the percent box, always over 100. Of 48, 48 goes into our of. Again, scale factor is an issue because I can't jump from 48 to 100 with a nice scale. So I'm going to reduce 75 over 100. I can see that those are like quarters, so I know that I can reduce that to 3 over 4. And I know 4 times 12 is 48, and my scale on the top has to be the same, times 12. Well, 3 times 12 is 36, so x would equal 36. So 75% of 48 is 36. Last one, try on your own, come back and check with me. Okay, so for number 11, you want to make sure you have your box set up. Is over of percent, always over 100, and then chunk the information. 90%, 90 goes in the percent box. Of what means we don't have our of, is 90. Well, 90 goes in our is. That's a great scale factor because 90 times 1 is 90. Scale factor has to be the same on the bottom. What times 1 gives you 100? Well, 100 times 1 gives you 100, which means x equals 100. 90% of 100 is 90. When we went to the back, we looked at application problems because that's what we work with is word problems all the time. So we need to be able to look at a word problem and be able to pull out the information, know it's a percent problem, and then apply it to the percent box and answer the question. So number 1, as I read it, I notice I'm looking for a percent. Well, that right there indicates that I can use that percent box to help organize my information. Is over of percent, always out of 100. So as I read the question, I'm just going to pull out what I think is important. She drank 3 of the sodas. Well, how many sodas they say that she bought 6. So 3 of 6. 3 is the part because it's the part that she drank. 6 is my total because that's the total that she bought. I am looking for, my question is the percent that she drank over the weekend. That's really important because they may have your focus one place and then flip it on you at the end. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to what your question is. Part is 3, of or total is 6. Percent is what we're looking for. Again, 6 times nothing gets me to 100. So I'm going to go ahead and find the base of 3 to 6 is 1/2. 2 times 50 is 100. So my scale factor on the top is also 50. So x equals 50 and it's percent. And make sure you answer your question. She drank 50% of the 6-pack or the sodas that she bought. Make sure that that answers your question. Go ahead and try number 2 on your own. Pause the video, come back and check with me. So number 2, it said that we had 90 tissues. There were only 18 left. What percent were left? Well, again, they're looking for percent. That tells me I can use a percent box. Set it up. Label. Always over 100. So the information they give me is we have 90 tissues. That's my total. 18 tissues were left in the box. The question is the percent of tissues left. Well, my question is dependent on my part. So I don't have to change anything other than just put it into my table. 18 out of 90. We don't know our percent. Again, there is no friendly scale, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce or find the base. That allows me to find the scale of times 20 on the top times 20. So I know that x equals 20 and it's a percent. And answer the question, 20% tissues left. We want to make sure they don't turn it around on us. If they were to ask us how many he used, well, that's 80%. It's the other portion of it because each would add up to 100%.